They banned a boy from the water to prove control. He lost the lake instead because the dad who loved him bought the marina, opened the docks, and turned petty power into public freedom. When the HOA's notice arrived, a curt letter banning my 12-year-old son from fishing on the community lake, it felt like a small, hateful pinprick. The board's reason was bureaucratic fluff. Unsupervised minors pose liability risks. What it really was? Petty revenge. My boy had only gone out with a rod and a sandwich, learning patience the way I had. We fished together. That's how summers were kept. I tried the usual channels. I pleaded with the board. I explained the liability waivers, the signed parental permissions, the small print history that allowed residents to enjoy the water. Karen shrugged and repeated the line about liability like a mantra. The fine print could be argued. The attitude could not. The message was clear. They wanted to make an example of us. I could have lived with the ban. Watching my son's face that afternoon, crestfallen, shoulders small against the dock railing, made something inside me shift. This wasn't about a rule, it was about ownership. So I started looking into the papers. The marina had been privately owned for decades by a family that loved the water. The place went up for sale quietly after the owner passed. I made a call. A few meetings later, and we closed at $1.1 million, cash, clean with a handshake and an escrow. The purchase was small revenge, big in consequence. Owning the lake meant more than a place to set a line. It meant control of the ramps, the docks, the rules that govern mornings by water. I reopened the slips to every resident, rescinded the petty bans, and offered free youth fishing clinics every weekend. When I sent the new owner's letter to the HOA, I signed it simply, effective immediately, public access restored, all previous bans nullified. The board called lawyers, sputtered threats, and tried to wring authority from a document they'd never held. But law and title sat squarely on my side. The county recorded the deed. The marina's key turned in locks that once slammed my son's hopes shut. The next Saturday, the docks were full of laughing kids and lines that arced like commas across the blue. I didn't gloat. I quietly manned the bait table, showing my son how to tie a proper knot and how to be patient with the bite. The HOA learned something that summer. If you try to cage a boy's childhood, someone will buy the lake and set it free.
I am Liam, and trust me, the next HOA story is even worse. Subscribe now.